Baking soda sits in nearly every Australian kitchen. It's used for baking, cleaning, deodorizing, and sometimes even as a home remedy. It seems simple, just sodium bicarbonate, a basic chemical compound, but few people stop to consider where baking soda actually comes from, how it's produced, or whether meaningful differences exist between the various brands on supermarket shelves. Understanding this common product helps clear up confusion and avoids paying extra for marketing rather than substance. Chemically, baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, NaHCO3. It's a compound made of sodium, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen, and its chemical behavior is the same regardless of where or how it's made. The compound itself does not change. What can differ is the production method and the purity standard applied. Sodium bicarbonate occurs naturally in mineral deposits known as noccolite, often found alongside trona. Large natural deposits exist in parts of the United States. In this method, the mineral is mined, dissolved, purified, and crystallized into sodium bicarbonate. Most baking soda available worldwide, including in Australia, is produced synthetically using the solvay process. This industrial method combines salt, limestone, ammonia, and carbon dioxide in a controlled sequence of reactions. Sodium bicarbonate precipitates out, is filtered, washed, dried, and packaged. The process is efficient, well understood, and produces very pure sodium bicarbonate at scale. Australia does not have commercially significant natural deposits of baking soda, so nearly all baking soda sold locally is either imported or made domestically using synthetic processes. This is not a concern. Once purified to food-grade standards, synthetically produced and naturally mined sodium bicarbonate are chemically identical. The molecular structure is the same, and the body cannot tell the difference. What does matter is grading. Sodium bicarbonate is produced in multiple grades, including industrial, technical, food, and pharmaceutical. Food-grade baking soda must meet strict food safety standards set by food safety regulators. It undergoes additional purification and testing to ensure contaminants such as heavy metals remain below safe limits. Industrial-grade baking soda is chemically similar, but may contain impurity levels acceptable for cleaning or manufacturing and should never be used in food. A common misconception is that naturally mined baking soda is superior. From a chemistry perspective, this is incorrect. Once purified to food-grade quality, sodium bicarbonate is the same compound regardless of origin. Claims of superiority are marketing narratives rather than scientific differences. Another misconception is that synthetic automatically means dangerous. In chemistry, synthetic simply means produced through controlled reactions. The solvay process has been used for more than a century and is one of the safest and most reliable methods of producing pure sodium bicarbonate. Many essential food and pharmaceutical compounds are produced synthetically for consistency and safety. Labels such as gluten-free or aluminum-free on baking soda can also be misleading. Pure sodium bicarbonate never contains gluten. It is a mineral compound, not a grain product. Aluminum concerns apply to some baking powders, not baking soda itself. These labels often add perceived value without reflecting a real difference. Brand differences are also minimal. For food-grade baking soda, performance in baking is essentially identical across brands because the product is the same compound at the same purity. Price differences usually reflect packaging, branding, and distribution rather than quality. Some people believe certain brands are better for health-related uses, such as antacid purposes. In reality, food-grade sodium bicarbonate is food-grade sodium bicarbonate. However, regular internal use should be approached cautiously. Frequent or large consumption can disrupt electrolyte balance and increase sodium intake. Medical advice is recommended before using baking soda regularly for health purposes. When choosing baking soda, the most important factors are that it is clearly labeled as food grade, stored in moisture-resistant packaging, and appropriate for your intended use. Moisture exposure can reduce effectiveness over time. Buying larger quantities can be economical if you use it frequently, as baking soda has a long shelf life when stored properly. Brand name, country of origin, natural versus synthetic claims, and organic language are largely irrelevant for sodium bicarbonate. It cannot be organic in the agricultural sense, and any such implication is marketing rather than certification. Supermarket house brands generally offer excellent value. They must meet the same food safety standards as name brands and often come from the same manufacturers. Premium brands may appeal for familiarity or packaging convenience, but they are not chemically superior. To maintain effectiveness, baking soda should be stored in airtight containers away from moisture and acidic substances. For best baking performance, replacing it every 1 to 2 years is sensible. A simple freshness test is to add baking soda to vinegar or lemon juice. Vigorous fizzing indicates it's still active. Used appropriately, baking soda is safe and versatile. In cooking, follow recipe quantities to avoid bitter or soapy flavors. For cleaning, it's effective and low risk. For personal care or internal use, moderation is essential, and children should never be given baking soda solutions without medical guidance. In Australia, baking soda is widely available through supermarkets, bulk retailers, health food stores, and online sellers. Prices vary widely, but performance does not. Choosing based on price, quantity, and packaging usually makes the most sense. Baking soda is a simple compound, but understanding how it's produced and marketed helps avoid confusion. The key point is that purity and food-grade standards matter. Origin stories and branding largely do not. With that knowledge, you can choose confidently without overpaying for claims that don't change what's actually in the box.